Okay, I hit record.
It's just being recorded now. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Ann Moore again, one of the members of Cohort 3. We are meeting and greeting all of our district folks this week in all the various cohorts. There are 4 simultaneous meetings going on, all with different people. And what we wanted to do was make sure that we in the cohorts here at the State Department, Office of Special Education Services, know all the folks from the 21 districts we may be working with, and that you all know us and that you know each other. So this is us. This is cohort 3 from the Office of Special Education Services here at the State Department. Most of us some of us are here today in the meeting, and some of us are not. There have been a couple of things come up, and folks have had to say that they will not be here, but they'll be checking in with us later. Tilani Edwards is a representative from finance who is on cohort 3, and I did not see Tulani's name. Tulani, are you here? Okay, but Tulani will be working with us as we need to. Cheryl, you are here if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am Cheryl Fitz, part of the Social Emotional Learning team, also your programmatic contact for Cohort 3. I've been with the State Department in and out, I guess, for about 6 years now. Really looking forward to working with you guys.
Thank you. Robert Goodlett is another representative from finance on cohort 3. I did not see Robert signed in yet, so he may not be here. Sarah McKay is a member of the Academic Outcomes Focus Group and a member of Cohort 3. She is involved in another training today, so she will not be at this meeting. I'm Ann Moore. I work with the Post-Secondary Outcomes Focus Group. Some of you know me through program monitoring. I've been around the state in the districts doing monitoring and trainings for about 10 years now from the State Department. And before that was in a district, but I'm looking forward to working with all of you in this new role with the new system of tiered assistance. Angie.
Yes. Hey, my name is Angie Neal, and I am a speech language pathologist and the speech language pathology contact. So if you have any questions about that, you can reach out to me. I'm also the representative for early childhood. So if you have any early childhood questions, I am your girl.
And Tammy.
Hi, I'm Tamara Valentine, Tammy nickname. I am actually the complaint investigator, but my background, I have a lot of background in SEL. I'm originally from Miami. I have about 20 years of experience dealing with children with emotional disability. So I'm sort of Cheryl's sidekick in this process on cohort 3, as far as consults or any type of information that I may have. But my main role is the complaint investigator. So I'm here as I guess what team player in, for my experience or my knowledge, whatever they need from me. So,
Right.
okay.
Okay.
All
So
right.
that's who cohort 3 is, and from the Office of Special Ed Services. Any of you have any questions so far about us? If you look at this little map, we're the ones that are in blue. We do know that this map is not handicapped accessible because the colors of the contrast on the different counties is not what it should be. We are working on that and we'll get it corrected. But if you can see the map, we're the ones that are in blue. So we're the upper northeast corner of the state over on the coast back up to Calhoun. And then we have just 3 more districts scattered around. As you begin to work with your cohort through the various stages and in the system of tiered assistance, you'll have someone who is your initial point of contact. These 4 people are not the entire cohort, as you know, but these are the programmatic folks, the folks who are not finance, who are not, as Tammy is, working with complaint investigations that may present a conflict of interest, things like that. We're the ones that work with the programs, work with the districts, and have always been in that capacity from the program standpoint. Right now, you'll see yourself listed under somebody's name. Cheryl will be the initial point of contact for Williamsburg, for DJJ, Palmetto Unified, Calhoun County, and Fairfield County. Sarah McKay, who is not here today, but will be working with all the Florences. I'll be working with Georgetown, Clarendon 1, 2, and 3, Lancaster, and Horry, and Angie will be working with Marion, Cherokee, Erskine Charter, South Carolina Public Charter School District, and the South Carolina Governor Schools. These are just initial points of contact. You can reach out to your initial cohort point of contact with any questions you may have. Our email addresses are up there. And we ask you to let us know who the point of contact for your district will be, at least initially. What we want to make sure we say, though, is that the points of contacts may change as we move forward in this process, because we want to make sure that as you and we together identify your areas of needs and your areas of priority, that we have you working with the person from the cohort who is best equipped to work with those needs and your plan going forward. So these are initial contacts. And they may well remain the same, the contact all year long, but your initial contact may change if we need it to change or if you need it to change for some reason. So make a note of the email address of your point of contact. Either Cheryl Fitz, Sarah McKay, me, Ann Moore, or Angie Neal. And we will be contacting you as well. What we would like for you to do today is do most of the talking as we proceed through the rest of the meeting. Initially, though, we would like for you to introduce yourself. All of the districts that are part of Cohort 3 are listed on this slide. The order is just from the chart that you received, I think, from Becky as an attachment yesterday, that lists the Tier 2 districts followed by all the Tier 1 districts. So if anyone is here from Florence 1, if you will, unmute yourself and introduce yourself to us.
Hi, I'm Brian Denny. I am the Assistant Superintendent for Special Needs in Florence 1. I have a couple of my supervisors that are logged on too. Miss Amanda Dale and Amy Sansbury are on here as well.
Okay, and Brian, you have been there for quite some time. We've been working together for a long time with you and your folks.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything happening in Florence 1 right now? Anything wonderful?
We are just like most people, trying to keep our heads above water, trying to make sure that we have students that have just transitioned back to 5 days a week this past Monday. Not everybody, but we did have some that transitioned back, and so we're still, just trying to do what everybody else is doing and keep our heads above water and making sure that all our students have what they need.
Well, good for you. We're glad y'all are all back. I know a lot of districts have been in and out, and when we hear a district is back, that's always good news to us. How about Marion? Who have we got for Marion here today?
Good afternoon. This is Nakia Pinckney Burks. I am standing in the stead of and on the feet of, she's here, Dr. Cassandra Strickland. Go ahead, Dr. Strickland. I see you coming in. Oh, maybe not. My director, who is the Director of Federal Programs, Dr. Cassandra Strickland. I am one of the coordinators of Special Services, Nakia Pinckney Burks.
Okay. Williamsburg, are you here?
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing, Ann?
I'm doing fine.
Of the team. I'll just let everybody on our team introduce themselves. I am Thelvanisa Murphy, the Executive Director for Special Services.
I'm Stacy Mooneyham. I'm the Coordinator of Special Services.
Crystal Owens, Therapy Services Facilitator.
Aisha Hannibal, Special Service Instructional Facilitator.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
And we have Dr. Rebecca Brooks. She's also one of our instructional services facilitator.
Oh, good. And if you will, Thelvanisa, when you email Cheryl, if you will list all of y'all,
yes, ma'am.
So we know who all will be working with. Now, you all have already begun to work with us a little bit because you submitted a little your root cause analysis early. So we've already worked a little bit with you, and we just need to get things rolling a little bit more. So we will be doing that as we go forward.
And we're extremely excited.
Well, good. So are we. We're interested in how everything is going to go with the districts who are choosing to voluntarily participate this year. We hope you all will have some good reviews for us, because we hope we've planned it out well and we've thought of everything. And at the same time, we're pretty sure we have not thought of every possibility that's going to arise this year. It's just we can't know that until we get started. So we're going to be depending on you all for input to us as well. Georgetown, I know you're here.
We got a great think tank team here, and we're excited to be working with you all.
Well, good. Okay, Michael.
Yeah, hey, it's Mike Kaviris, Executive Director for Special Populations here at Georgetown County. Ms. Daniels is also on. She's not currently on because we're doing Child Find as we speak to, so she's actually in one of the meetings, but she'll pop back in. Other than that, you know, it's a balmy 48 degrees down here, so we're not used to that. But you know, it'll be better days as they come. But yeah, we're excited as well. We've I think completed a few of the sodas too and turned them in. So we'll just wait for your call next day or two and on next steps. So yeah.
Right. Now you submitted post-secondary and social emotional, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, those are the only two?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, they're the only two I had seen. I wanted to make sure.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
yes, Cheryl and I'll be getting back in touch with you in the next day or two.
Awesome. Thank you.
Clarendon 1.
Hey everybody, this is Kim Weinberger. I'm actually the Director of Federal Programs and Special Ed in Clarendon 3, but as I'm sure everybody knows, Clarendon 1 and 3 are consolidating, and we are now sharing special ed services. So I'm representing 1 and 3.
Good for you. And we won't make you introduce yourself when we get back down to Clarendon 3 then.
Thank you.
How about Florence? I don't know why these are not in order, 2, 3, 4, 5, but they're not. Florence 4.
Hi, this is Joni Somerset. I'm the Special Education Coordinator with Florence 4. This will be my 3rd year here in the district.
Okay. All right. Florence 2.
Hi, all. My name is Belinda Kane. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services here in Florence School District 2. Been in education for 23 years, but been the director here in Florence 2 for the past 6.
Okay. Florence 3.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Cheryl Hubbard-George, Special Ed Director for Florence School District 3. This is my 6th year in this current position. And prior to that, I've worked in special ed for about 16, 17 years now.
Okay. And Florence 5.
Hey, this is Beth Snowden with Florence 5.
Okay. Now, all the 5 Florences, we hope that in addition to working with us, you all may be able to work with each other some as we go and may be able to provide some supports to one another. We did group your point of contact together that way, so that if the 5 Florence districts and Sarah want to get together to discuss anything, any common interests or common needs, then that may be able to create your own little cohort within the cohort to try to seek each other out as we need to. Clarendon 2. Florrie,
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Florrie Wilson. I've been in education for 28 years. I've served as the Director of Special Services in Clarendon 2 for going on my 6th year.
Okay, and the same with Clarendon's 1 and 3 merged and 2. We hope we may find that you all can rely some on each other and discuss things with each other as well as with us, and find supports wherever we can find them. And we'll pursue that a little bit more as we go forward throughout the year. Horry County.
Hi, everyone. I'm Natasha McDonald, the Director of Special Education for Horry County, and we also have with us Ruth Lilly, who's one of our coordinators.
Okay. What's happening down on the coast today?
Well, it's sunny but chilly. It's a little too chilly for us today.
It was a little too chilly for me up here last night. It got down to almost 22 up here in the upstate. So, yeah, it's cool. How about Cherokee County? You're up here in the cool weather with me.
Yes, we are. It was very cold this morning. This is Bessie Westmoreland, Director for Student Services in Cherokee County. My 24th year in special education and my 8th year as the director.
All right. Calhoun?
Good afternoon, all. This is Furlando Tulloch. I'm Deputy Superintendent in the district, as well as Director for Student Services and Special Education Services.
Okay. Erskine Charter.
Good afternoon. I'm Selena Patton, Chief of Student Services for the Charter Institute at Erskine. I have two directors with me who help split the state, Kathy Griffin and Laura Merrick.
Okay. Kathy Griffin. Are you the Kathy Griffin that I...
The one and only.
All right. I didn't know you were with Erskine Charter now. Good for you. And good for Erskine Charter.
Thank you.
South Carolina Public Charter School District.
Hey everyone, this is Laura Simmons. I'm director for the Charter District. Today it's just me on the call. This is year 25 for me in education and going on year 5 as director of the Charter District.
All right. And I don't know if the two charter the district and the institute can work together on some things. I would imagine you have some similar issues, although Erskine, I know you're much newer, so you may be not as far down the road yet. So maybe public charter can be a source of some help and information for you. Fairfield County.
Good afternoon. This is Webb Sanderson, Director of Student Services, and I think I have one or two more of my team members that may be on the call, and this will be about my 7th year in this position.
Okay.
This is Ann Curitan from Fairfield. I serve as the secondary coordinator for special education.
This is Sarah Pearson, special education coordinator. This will be my 27th year, special education, and 13 years as coordinator.
Okay. Lancaster. I was in a training with Lancaster this morning. I know they have several things going on today, so they may not have been able to get back on this afternoon. How about Department of Juvenile Justice?
Hello, I'm Tia Fletcher with the Department of Juvenile Justice. I am the Director of Special Education Services. I've been working in that position for, seems like forever, but I guess I would venture to say 4 years. And I have over 21 years in education, but not entirely in special education.
Right. And Tia, you've worked with us for a number of years on some various things as well.
Yes.
Some that are strictly DJJ and some that sort of tie in with Palmetto Unified.
Yes.
And I think I saw Palmetto Unified was on.
Good afternoon. Is that my segue? You always see
it.
Department. Whenever you see Department of Juvenile Justice, the Palmetto Unified School District, we're not far. Tia and I, we've worked together for a long time, and along with the State Department folks. Good to see you, Ann, and the rest of my colleagues. I'm Jay Collins with the Palmetto Unified School District, and people think of us as the adult division of correctional education. I'm at South Carolina Department of Corrections. It's been 7 years, and I'm just going to say a bunch of years outside of corrections in various school districts as a psychologist.
Okay. All right. And then the governor's schools. They are actually two separate entities. So we would have separate representatives from the governor's schools if they're here today.
I'm here. This is Beth Hollingsworth. I'm the special ed point person for the brand new Governor's School for Agriculture at John De La Howe. I have 32 years of special ed teaching experience. This is my first year, of course, with John De La Howe.
Okay, well, are there 3 governor schools now then?
There are 3. The governor will be at our school next Tuesday to officially sign it, but we are officially a governor's school now.
Okay, I knew that was in the works, but I was only knew officially of the other 2. So, Do you have much contact with the other two, or is it too soon to tell?
It is too soon to tell, but
Okay.
we certainly would love to do that.
Okay, well, we would love for you to do that as well, and we would love to have some more involvement with them as well. The governor's schools are unique in the way that students are enrolled in the schools, so sometimes our involvement with them is more limited because, of course, the number of students with disabilities they serve is just more limited. But we will see. We will make whatever contacts we can and try to put you in touch with folks who have similar kinds of educational programs and concerns too.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, you are very welcome. So we had pretty much everybody here today. That's really good. We appreciate that. We never know who's going to have what going on, especially these days, but I appreciate all of you making the time to join us here today. We sent out several weeks ago a survey. It only had 4 questions, and about a third of the districts, a little over a third of the districts in the state did complete and return the survey. So we did go through and compile the results, everyone's responses, and we wanted to share with you all today the most common, most frequent responses to each question, and also get some more information from you as to exactly what you mean by that. Because what we want to do is make sure that we provide to you what you need from us, which was one of the questions. The first question, though, was how would you define a successful year? And the 3 top answers were compliance with state and federal regulations, academic and functional growth supported by data, and then using data effectively to make those evidence-based practices and decision making. So what we'd like to know is a little more about that. When you say you need compliance with regulations to have a successful year, what are you talking about? We've focused on compliance for a while now in terms of regulatory compliance for IEP development, for implementation. Of course, finance has its own set of regulations. Everybody has their own set of regulations. So when you're talking to us about compliance with state and federal regulations in terms of IDEA programs, what do you mean? What is it that you need? Is it just in terms of complaints and that type of compliance, or is it general day-to-day things? What are you talking about? Anybody who would be willing to share and talk with us, we'd appreciate it, because what we want to do is get you all to talk with us and with each other. So let's see if we can find some common ground among our districts in our cohort. A lot of you have had the trainings that we have offered, both in terms of some general training and then ones that are specific to the needs that were identified in your districts. What things have been helpful? What things have not been helpful? What would you like to see more of? Where do we need to go with this?
Hi, this is Flurry Clarendon too. I would like to see more training, like the one on the transition, the transition module.
Yes.
My team have said that training was great. I sent them through that training. They said that training is great. Being that we can't be face to face, more training like that to help us stay compliant will be beneficial for my district.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then, Flurry. Thank you. We did develop this year. It was for a particular district, but certainly can be tweaked or modified to meet the needs of other districts as well. We did a scripted PowerPoint presentation, voiceover presentation related to IEP development. Now, many of you have seen that face-to-face training, and it has shifted from just slides and discussion to hands-on to almost hand over hand sometimes, and which is, of course, much more difficult to do virtually. But it's not a module per se, but it is scripted and narrated. Is something like that more what you have in mind, or something more targeted to particular areas? What do y'all think?
This is Mr. Careers from Georgetown. It wasn't last year. I think it was 2 years ago. We were invited to Indicator 13 training, where we actually brought some of our IEPs we had maybe concerns with, and we kind of sat there and worked through them with you guys. It was
Yes.
during research practice, and I thought that was very beneficial because it kind of allowed us to see how things all kind of led to each other, and I mean actually worked real well for us, because after we went through that, we did got our 100% clearances as opposed to the first time we went through it. So those are, I mean, that's what you do, right? So
Right.
I appreciate that, but that really allowed us to kind of get dirty with it a little bit, and then had you guys there to kind of help us look at it and really work with it. So that was I think that's worthwhile.
Well, good. Thank you.
Mhm.
We do tend to like the face-to-face interactive kinds of trainings we can do. We know that everyone's ability to do that right now is limited. So we do want to do what we can within the constraints we all have right now. But we do like to do the ones where you're actually working with your own students, your own files, because as we look at compliance, we know that it's a necessary evil, if you will. Compliance doesn't go away. The requirements and the regulations don't go away. But we do want to look at IEPs more and more from the standpoint of, yes, it needs to be compliance, but in order to be compliant, it has to truly make sense from start to finish. The content, the expectations established, the goals for students, the goals for instructional presentation models and things like that for your teachers. What are those things that become part of the IEP as the educational plan that will ultimately lead to the better outcomes for your students? So we're trying to look at compliance from a little different perspective if what we have been doing hasn't helped. Now, I'm really glad to hear that Indicator 13, both the module and the training sessions are helpful to you. I did work on both of those, so I always like to hear that something I was doing was working. Then there've been a lot of other things that we've all been part of too, and some have been more successful than others, as is always the case with anything you do. Anything that you know of that we've never done that you'd like to see us do, or something that we did that you can think of a better way?
And this is Cheryl from Florence 3. I think what would be helpful for me and my teachers is just a really good, I don't want to say sample IEP, because I know that's not what I want, but just the review of the standards and the skill and how that connection is made. I think we are moving, for my teachers, I can tell you, I think that because we get new teachers every year, whatever. But I think that if we could have a staple example of the connection between the standards and the skill alignment, that would be really helpful for me.
Okay, so because we have not focused an awful lot on aligning it with the standards. We worked very hard so that we knew it was not a standards-based document, but it was aligned with standards and the skills necessary to teach the standards. So if that is something that we need to make a bigger emphasis on, we can certainly try to do that. Anybody else have a similar concern? Or suggestion? Okay, we can work with that. We can see where we need to go, and we have tried to focus a little more on, as I said, the content of the IEPs, in the sense that present levels guide run the whole show. And that's where we establish the picture of the child and where what the child knows and what the child doesn't know, and what they can do and what they need to know how to do. And then the rest of the IEP makes sense from there. So we are looking more at the content as it flows, and the rigor and the best practices in the IEPs, rather than the individual components of the IEP separately. So we hope that will help as well. So we do need to make some adjustments, and certainly adding how it is aligned with standards could be part of that. The second most common response from the survey results was academic and functional growth, and that is based on the data. What do you call successful in terms of academic and functional growth? Progress, or some of you have made progress in some areas, some years, not in every area, every year. Some have done pretty well. Some have not had quite the data to support an awful lot of progress. There have been a lot of reasons for a lot of things in different districts. What is it? What do you mean academic and functional growth will make a successful year? How are you measuring that? Functional is a little harder to measure than academic. Are you talking about like discipline and behavioral data? Are you talking about ultimate, career work, work with the credential areas?
I think this is Brian Denny from Florence One. I think it would be good if our teachers had some more ideas of how to measure and assess functional skills.
Okay.
I think sometimes we get so focused on academics we forget functional skills. So I think anything that we could have to help teachers and for them to see examples of that, ways to how to assess functional skills, I think would be great.
Okay. And academic skills get a lot of attention and a lot of instruction, but at the same time, there are areas that need a lot of attention and a lot of instruction. Anything that we could do to help you with that? I know some of the districts have struggled with the linkage between general ed and special ed in terms of academic instruction and assessment. In some districts, are trying very hard to link those. In some districts, they're still very separate, and it's not that one is better than the other. They're just different approaches. What are some of you doing?
Hey, Ann, this is Kathy Griffin. The state sent out the information on co-teaching, the handbook, if you will, but then there has been no follow-up really with it. So I think following up with that will help with the academic growth.
Okay. And you're right. We were doing a lot of training and a lot of development of some co-teaching strategies and some co-teaching models. And then it has gotten sort of a back seat and put on the back burner with everything else that's been going on. So yeah, we can revisit that and try to pick that up and get it jump started again. How about do you have what you need in terms of academic programs, in terms of function of materials? Sometimes it is, like what Brian was saying, just first of all, what are some ways we can do this and address it? But sometimes it gets beyond that to this just a basic lack of the materials and supplies you need to get started. What is it that you need to be able to demonstrate some academic growth? Certainly co-teaching as an instructional model is a good place to start for that. What else?
And can I back up? This is Cheryl again. Let me back up for 1 second.
Sure.
I think that what we often do is forget that our kids are in gen ed the majority of their day.
Right.
And I feel as though the training needs to shift more to gen ed.
Okay.
With those, specially designed instruction versus high levels practices versus concrete examples and non-examples of accommodations and modifications. Because I feel like my special ed teachers have a good understanding of what it is, and our struggle is gen ed. Okay. Anybody else have the view from what they've seen going on in their districts?
Yeah, I concur. I think that's the linkage is not there.
Okay.
And that being said, a lot of our new teachers are still, even coming from the universities, aren't still getting a plethora of information. They may have one class that deals with special education, and unfortunately, a lot of our kids, whether in special education or not, would benefit from those different teaching strategies, and may not be identified or may not even qualify, but are on that edge, but would definitely benefit with the new way. And I think that's where we can bring those two groups closer together. So whoever said that, I agree 100%.
Okay. I'm trying to mute and unmute between my phone ringing here in the background. Okay. So academic and functional growth, we can take a look at that. Hopefully then you can get some better data so that you can then use that data effectively, which was the third most common response to this question, is knowing what to do with the data once you have it. The tiers were assigned, the cohorts were assigned based on the data that we had from state testing. The data that you have available to you, what do you do with it? And what is it that you need to do more effectively, you think, from the district perspective?
So this is Cheryl again. Train principals and assistant principals on how to use the data and how to monitor program implementation fidelity at their schools.
Okay. Okay, and I hear that's my lawnmower man going by now, so I've got to mute again. But fidelity is certainly implementation fidelity is a big factor, and knowing what to do with the data that you see. A lot of folks get the data, you look at the data, and we make these grand sweeping assumptions based on the data without really looking back a little deeper at what that data truly means and what sometimes that data doesn't truly mean. In avoiding some of those knee-jerk responses. But certainly I think training in effective use of data for both special ed and general ed, and it sort of links back to what you were saying about the instructional strategies too, crossing between special ed, general ed, because they're all everybody's students. And while we take ownership of a lot of that, they don't belong entirely to us. They do belong entirely to the district as a whole. So making better data informed decisions. Do you see that program decisions and changes being made throughout the district based on data, or is it the latest whatever that comes down the pike for someone to try? When I was in a district, we tried everything that came rolling by, I think, and a lot of times we didn't use the data effectively to make those decisions, and neither did we use the data effectively to stop doing things that we were doing. So how does that play out in your districts? Who makes those database decisions? Okay, I don't know what happened on my end. I don't know if you all lost me. I certainly lost all of you. All of you appear to be muted. If somebody can.
Yeah, you're back. You're
Okay.
back. We lost you for a second, but you're back.
All right, good. Well, I'm glad I'm back then. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened, but I just glitched right off of there and was gone. Okay, so in your districts, how are you using data now so that maybe we can figure out how we need to use it better?
This is Philando in Calhoun County.
Yes.
For us, we use, and I call it our report card. Once we get to the determinations report, we use that information to truly drive our instruction. The frustrating part is, we'll see the data from math, and then this year we'll make the improvements in math. And when we get the next determinations report, we've done an awesome job with math, but we dropped the ball when it comes to the ELA part. So for us, it's using that data to drive our instruction. For us, I would hope that we would do a better job in keeping the focus in all of the areas as opposed to dropping something and picking up a new focus.
Okay. All right. So it's keeping the consistency going from year to year when your focus changes.
So, and what we did this year with our principals is that we did a training on high leverage practices, specialized instruction, what it looks like daily in the classroom, and we developed a lesson plan rubric for everybody so they can see, okay, what amount of high leverage practice and good things are happening for all kids, and then trickling down to special ed in all environments. And the reason that we did that is because we looked at our data and we didn't just look at special ed, we compared it to gen ed, and we started to see trends in both special ed and gen ed. So then it's not just a special ed issue, it's a core curriculum issue, it's a core instruction issue. And for our principal walkthroughs, they don't really, they know the general concept of the advanced ed walkthrough instructional tool, but when you're drilling down looking for specialized instruction and high leverage practices, it really needs to be specific. They have to know what to look for. And that's why we did the lesson plan rubric and the walkthrough instructional rubric.
Okay, good. And yeah, I would agree with you. That when we have different people looking at the same lesson from different perspectives and different expert knowledge levels, then we don't always get the same type of results from two people looking at the same lesson at the same time. So yeah, we do need to try to make sure that everyone is coming at it from the same direction. If that means more training, then that means more training. So yeah, I would agree with you. Anything else about how you define your successful year that you'd like to share right now? And if not, we'll move on, because we've gotten a good bit of discussion, and so we're going to run out of time. How about that? This is related to that. What do you need to do to have a successful year? The three most common answers to that question were ensuring the health and well-being of your students and your staff, and providing ongoing professional development, and then serving your students in virtual, hybrid, and face-to-face models. And we know that all three of those have been particularly troubling and problematic this year, just because of everything that's been going on. Everything has been new to everybody this year. But how are you doing in serving your students in all the models, and then the professional development that has needed to go along with that? How are your staff and students handling the whole thing?
I think it's been kind of difficult, especially when we have virtual. We're virtual and hybrid in Georgetown, and a lot of our teachers are doing both. They wholeheartedly, in the beginning of all this, wanted to teach their students, and so they've come up with ideas of having a virtual period and then doing the hybrid face-to-face. We actually have all our special needs students coming back 4 days a week. Our general ed population is still on a 2-day deal, but everybody who wants to can come back special ed wise on a 4-day face-to-face, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. But it's been difficult because really someone else can't do it, and to have kids shared across the county when they don't have those relationships, it's been tough. And so that falls into that social emotional health of the teachers, but they've been doing a good job so far. I think Wednesday has been extremely beneficial in our district because it's given them an opportunity to work with teachers, where that work usually happened maybe with an hour PLC during a day or after school, which isn't very productive because it's after school. So during that Wednesday, we pull other kids in for enrichment, and then part of that Wednesday they're doing staff development, professional learning teams, all those things, looking at data. So that has been a nice situation. Our special ed teachers do say, though, with the smaller groups, they're able to make a lot more gains, and they've been able to have that because they are smaller, just because of the virtual split. We're about 50-50. So about half our kids are virtual, the other half are the hybrid, what have you.
Okay. Any other particular needs with your staff? Early on, I know everybody had professional development needs, but some districts have really gotten the hang of it and seem to be flourishing with the new models, and are seeing broader long-term applications of having the availability of some of these models for certain students.
Well, Florence 3 just went back 100% virtual, and we had to activate our contingency plans.
Right.
So it's been less traumatizing because we've had the hybrid model all along, but nonetheless, still a lot of work. I will say that as we were doing our instructional rounds, I had saw some amazing virtual lessons. So
that's great.
Yeah, it was really, really good to see the level of academic support, patience, differentiation that we saw when we were doing our rounds. It's still hard though.
Certainly it is hard. You're right. And I know some of you have been in and out and in and out, and as things have changed, and that is certainly difficult on a good day. Okay, let's move to the next question though, which is what's most important. What do we need to do to help you? What do you need to do? What do you need from us? And the three top answers were the professional learning opportunities, resources, training, and support, which is, yikes, pretty broad. Some face-to-face time, and then guidance on policies, procedures, systems, documentation. So the first one and the third one are sort of go together and go back a little bit to that compliance piece that was one of the first things you mentioned. And you've already given us a couple of things that would be helpful to you in a couple suggestions in the discussions as to what you think might be helpful to you. If you've noticed in the chat, the link to that voiceover scripted PowerPoint on general IEP development, I will email that link to all of you rather than try to find it right now in the middle of this without getting knocked off again. I will just email it to everybody in our cohort in the next day or two, so you'll have it. I think it has to be sent as a Google, through the cloud or something, because it's such a, with the voiceover and the narration and the number of slides, it's a pretty big, it can't be sent just as an attachment. So I will get that link to you just as soon as I can. But beyond that kind of thing and what you've already mentioned, what do we need to do? What can we do to help you have what in your district will be a successful year? This year, of course, being an unusual year, but also just going forward. What kind of training and support do you need right now? Other than we've mentioned the general ed and we've mentioned the IEP.
I think for us, sometimes it's one of my supervisors mentioned, it's hard to ask teachers to do professional development because they're burned out. A lot of our teachers are, and to ask them to come in after school or stay late in the day to do some sort of professional development is difficult, and that's one of the issues we've been having is the not only do they just the energy that they don't, I don't want to say they don't want to be there, but I think they're already worn out and tired, and generally when they leave they've got more work to do when they get home. And so trying to find that balance of providing them with some professional development but also not overwhelming them more than they already are. And we're certainly not trying to back off of compliance and things like that, but I think it's difficult, and I don't know how any advice from any of the districts would be great, but anything that we can do to help support our teachers, we're finding it difficult to provide that professional development, just because we know that teachers aren't all there. They're thinking about, what do I have to do tomorrow for my virtual students? For us, we have 5-day students, we have AB cohort, and we have virtual. So we have a lot of things going on, and so for those, it's hard to think about, okay, what's the best way for me to write this, present level of performance? And I know I've got all this other stuff going on too.
Right. And as I mentioned a little earlier, Brian, one of the things that we have tried to do this year is take a look at compliance from a different perspective as well. And we're trying to look more at the meaningfulness of the IEP rather than just at the components of the IEP. And hopefully that will make a difference too, as teachers begin to look at an IEP start to finish, and what does it mean for this individual student, especially if, as y'all have mentioned, it can be linked some with general ed, and we can see the same kinds of strategies being used, and the linkage between standards and the specialized instruction. If we can begin to make it all make sense as something that works together, I would hope that would would help all of our districts and all of our teachers, both special ed and general ed. But we want to provide you with whatever guidance you need on policies, procedures, systems, things like that. At the same time, what you say is certainly valid, Brian, and we don't want to overwhelm you and make a bad situation worse. So that's why we want you to please feel like at any time this year or any other year for that matter, that you can say to us, wait a minute, we need to take a step back from whatever, and we need to focus on something else, whatever the something else is, because we want to be responsive to your needs right now. None of us have ever been through anything like this before, and some of us are handling it better than others of us are. And so we do need to learn from the folks who are doing a really good job with it, and we need to rely on each other because nobody has all the answers right now. We need to grow and learn along with our neighbors from adjacent and neighboring districts. So just think about that. That's the harder question. Is how can we help you? You know, because when we ask that question, we do mean it. We mean, what can we do specifically with you and your teachers to make things better, to make your year more successful for your students? So just think about that, and then you can let us know if you come up with any ideas. The focus areas, we had all of you picked what would be your priority areas this year. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And academics, instruction, and outcomes, and post-secondary were the top two, followed by database decision making, which I think cuts across all of them, and then social skills was there as well. So given the areas that you chose from, and like PSO is there twice, one for career development, one for social skills, that's because we broke it down in the survey. But these are the results we got from those third of the districts that in general, academic instruction and outcomes, which is no surprise, everybody, because of the types of data that we get and the types of expectations we have, academic instruction is going to be and should be a primary focus for all of us. But then we did have some post-secondary in terms of outcomes, especially as we were talking about indicator 13 and getting into graduation rate, dropout rate, those kinds of things, and also the credential. There's a greater emphasis on those kinds of skills. And then social skills I was a little bit surprised we didn't have more responses indicating social skills as a priority area, but it may be not that that's not a priority area, just that it's not as big a priority as something else is this year because of what all is happening. So like I said, that was only the 37 districts that submitted the survey. But that's what we're looking at, those areas as they relate to the other things you all have been talking to us about today. But let me ask you this. If you can just begin to think specifically about your needs within those areas, within academics, post-secondary, decision-making, and social skills, and you can just jot them down, email them to any of us. You have all four of the program people's email addresses from that one slide. This is being recorded. It will be posted, so you'll be able to have that as well. But just shoot us an email of anything you think about, and we'll try to get back with everybody and try to discuss it a little more. But let me just ask you this for cohort 3, and this is cohort 3 only, which is just us. The other cohorts will be developing their own plans. Do you think it would be helpful to meet as a cohort periodically instead of the LEA directors, big directors meeting that Becky usually has? In addition to more by region or by those multiple districts within the same county, what do you think will be the most beneficial way for us to try to work with you in your districts? You know, I know we have Cherokee up on one corner of the state and Noree down on another. You know, is it particularly helpful for you all to talk to each other? Do you want to, how do you think that, I mean, are your needs similar enough? Do you think someone having a very different perspective would be helpful? What do you need us to do? How do we need to structure this so that we're not meeting you to death, and that the meetings we have are going to be helpful. We at OSIS can sit back and wait for you to ask us for something, but we certainly don't want to do that. We want to be proactive if we can be, while at the same time not being intrusive and getting in your way as you try to do things in your district. How can we be most supportive? We only got 2 minutes, y'all. Anybody got any ideas? Okay, well, what we'll do is we will, I know this will be posted, but what we're going to do is go back and put your comments into the PowerPoint, not verbatim, but the gist of the comments. And then I will send you the PowerPoint with the comments in it as a record of what all was discussed today. So you can certainly access the recording, but I will send it to you that way as an attachment as well. And I will send you the link for that one resource on IEP development that's more like a module, even though it isn't exactly a module, that you can use within your districts as you want to. And then think about it as you get this and look back over the comments. And if you have any other questions, any other comments, any other suggestions, you let us know, and we will see what we can do to address those. If you have submitted root cause analyses, then if you've not heard from us, you will, because we're trying to check those and keep up with those as quickly as we can. And sometimes the root cause analyses come to different focus groups if you did more than one, and we need a little bit more time to get those people back together. But we don't want to miss anybody. So if you have submitted something and you haven't heard from any of us, then shoot one of us an email and just ask, and we'll track it down for you. So we do want to know what we can do to help. And I'm seeing the touch and base more often. And I would agree with you, Bessie, that sometimes hearing other people just to know that they're dealing with the same things you are, there's sort of comfort in that, and you can bounce ideas off each other. So we will do that. We will meet again. I don't know exactly when. We'll check with Becky and see what some of the other cohorts are doing to see whether this will be part of the usual Wednesday LEA meeting, or if this would be a separate meeting, because like I said, we don't want to give you too many meetings, but we want to make sure we keep in touch. So appreciate your time today. Let any of us know if there's anything you can think of that can help us help you. Thank you all. And there is a poll in the chat box as to how we can be more supportive. If you want to check it, submit it, and then we'll tally that up and see what we can. We're getting the responses in now. Okay, looks like LEA sometimes, cohort sometimes, and cohort as a whole. So we'll start with that. We'll start with that, and then we'll go from there. Thank you all. Appreciate your time. Appreciate all the efforts that you're already making in what has been a very, very difficult year for all of you, we know.
Thank you, Ann, for leading.
Oh, you're very welcome. And we will let you know when the next meeting is.
Thank you, everybody.
And Cheryl, you can stop the recording.
Okay.